I know you have told me the story of how you kind of got the idea to start incorporating the kayaking. You told me of the story of helping out as a guide on a trip, and the little girl who made a lot of progress in a few days, and that's when you decided that you wanted other folks to have that opportunity who maybe didn't always have that opportunity. So how did you make the transfer from becoming a guide and being a therapist to finally putting those two loves together? I think that was part of the conversation that we haven't had yet.
Okay. It's kind of happened bit by bit, and it keeps evolving. But I'm my best self when I'm in wilderness and when I'm on the water, and I'm most me. And for me, then also, when I have things that are just, those times that are hard to get through, paddling provides the metaphors that I use to be able to get through it. So there was that. There was the fact that I was guiding, and I watched it change people's lives, like literally transform their lives. And I was working at a community mental health center in the child and adolescent unit. And I don't know if I've told you that part of the story or not. So I was working at a community mental health center, and I had two clients in particular who I discovered that therapy was much more effective with them if they could be moving. So one of them in particular was 15 when he came to me. He had been in therapy for years. He came to me already carrying a diagnosis of ADHD and bipolar disorder. And in the time that I worked with him, his father had left. He really hated his father. And then his father came back into his life. And his father became, again, in his life, his idol. He was in an alternative school, the second or third alternative school he'd been in, and was in the process of getting kicked out from there, and the district wasn't going to offer him another placement. The kid wasn't going to graduate from high school, and he was a really, really smart kid. He would come into an office, and he couldn't sit still, so he'd open and close the desk drawer, and he'd flip the light on and off, and he'd turn the desk light on and off, and he'd spin the chair around and around, and I spent all my time saying, please stop. Which there's nothing at all therapeutic about that. All it does is serve to reinforce all the messages that he was getting from every part of his life, telling him that he wasn't good enough. Really, really bright kid. Everything telling him he wasn't good enough. And I was just reinforcing that by saying, please stop. So his father was a heroin user. He relapsed. My client found his father dead with a needle in his neck, and just fell apart. He came into the mental health center, went to the busiest hallway in the building, lied down on the floor, and started bleating like a lamb, literally. And I was just like, and I walked over to him and I said, get up. And he did, surprisingly. And I turned around and I walked back out the door, and he walked with me, and we went for a walk, and he could talk to me. And he could talk to me about the things that mattered to him. He could talk to me about the things he was scared about. He could talk to me about the girl he was interested in. He could talk to me about his dreams. And so just the process of being able to move, being able to go for a walk, allowed him to reconnect with his dreams. And a 16-year-old kid, if you can't connect to your dreams, you're washed up. And no 16-year-old kid should be washed up. And he went from a washed up kid to a kid who had the potential of having a future again. And it was because we got outside and we moved.